Today in the Penalty Box Wood Shop, I'm gonna make something I've been wanting to make for a very long time. It's the ultimate cutting board with knife storage integrated to the board. I'm gonna show you exactly each step that I took to make it so you can make one for yourself. So let's head on over to the shop, grab some maple and some walnut, get it milled up, and get started on the board. I got all these boards cut down to 2.5 inches wide. And the reason why I went to 2.5 inches is when you're doing an edge grain cutting board like I'm doing, the thickness of your cutting board is determined by the width that you cut your boards. So when I turn them up on their edge like this, that's how thick the cutting board is going to be, because they're all going to be like this and then put together. 2.5 inches is really thick for a cutting board, a lot thicker than what I normally do. But to incorporate this knife holder, I'm not sure what thickness I'm gonna need. I wanted to go thicker than I thought I was gonna need. I think that my final width will be around 2 inches, but I've got a 1/2 inch there or even more if I need it. The first thing that I realized when I put these up and started looking at them and thinking about orientation is they need to be face jointed on the joiner and then finished off over on the planer, because they're not fitting together real flat. So I want a good clean glue up. So I'm gonna take them all over here. I'm gonna get one face of it completely flat on the joiner, then over to the planer, finish them off, and then back over here to figure out orientation to get this thing put together. All right, all of our boards have been milled up and should come together really well now. All of them are flat and they're square. Now comes for the hard part for me, and that is designing it. I'm not great at that. I'm not great at arranging boards to make sure that they look good. So I'm just gonna kind of throw them out here, see what looks best, arrange them a little bit, and go with it. So let's get to arranging. Some of these maple boards have some really nice spalting. I'll bring you in close here in just a second and kind of show you what I'm working with, but I'm trying to get that to show a little bit. I think that looks pretty cool, especially on a cutting board like this. I'm gonna get rid of this board because of the cracks, and that should put me around 13 inches wide. Yep, so that should fit through my planer. All right, after much ado, I think that this is the orientation of the boards that I like the most. It highlights some spalting and highlights some spalting on the outside over here. I like the big strip of walnut in the center. It's gonna look really good once it's finished. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Well, we are back in the shop, and after letting the cutting board sit in the clamps overnight, I went ahead and took them off this morning, and everything looks good. So our next step is going to be get this thing nice and flat. And I kept it at the 13-inch wide mark so that I could use my planer to do so. It's going to make this step a whole lot easier than using a hand plane or using a router sled or anything like that. So what I have is a planer sled. I'm going to secure the board to it, and then I'm going to run it through the planer, flatten in the top side, take it off the sled, flip it over, and then flatten the other side. If you want to know how I made this sled or the specifics on using it, I'll put a link to a video right there. It should tell you everything you need to know about it. So let's get started on this. All right, after all that, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I like that the handle is sunk down into the cutting board a little bit, but allows for your fingers to get underneath the knife to grab it. The blade is completely protected and you can't accidentally cut yourself on it. You got enough room to hold two knives. Now, as I've been posting this on Instagram, I've been getting a lot of feedback about concerns over mold or water pulling up inside of these slots. So I decided to counteract that a little bit. I wasn't really that worried about it, but I figured I would go ahead and try to put a fix in here for that. So that's why you saw me turn the board over and drill those small holes on the backside. I think that'll allow for some drainage as well as give me a way to use my air hose to blow debris or anything that might get in there. I'm building this board for myself, so it's not that hard for me to take it down from the kitchen into the shop and use my air hose there to dry it out or get something out of it if it happens. But I'm not overly concerned about it. Here in a second, I'm gonna cut this board to length and then I'm gonna put in a juice groove all the way around it. I think that juice groove is going to help keeping any of the liquids out from inside these slots. And when I wash it, I'm just going to lean it over into the sink and wash this side of it. I'm not really concerned, and I don't really plan on getting this soaking wet on this side, but we'll see. You know, trial and error. It's the first one I've ever made. I've never seen anybody else make one like this, so we'll see how it works. But time to get this bad boy finished up. So let's get it cut to length and put some chamfers on it, get the juice groove on there, and sand it and finish it. All right, folks, that does it for us today. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making that cutting board. I know that I'm gonna get a ton of use out of it, and I hope that you make one for yourself. As always, there'll be affiliate links down in the description section below to all the tools and equipment that I used during this video. Anytime you use those links, it supports the channel, and I appreciate it. And if you click right there, I'll have another video set up for you that I know you'll enjoy. We'll see you on the next one.